what's it been like being you, seeing how things have grown?
It's insane. So like UK Strongest Woman 2016, it was in a gym in the middle of nowhere. There was more people competing than there was watching the competition, and there was only about, out of all of the weight classes, about 15 girls competing. And for winning that, I got a tub of out-of-date protein powder for winning the UK Strongest Woman. Fast forward to now, you've got Britain's Strongest Woman in an arena with thousands of people in the crowds. You've got 5-figure prize money for a national competition. It's just like the difference in the last few years, it's just been incredible. And like to be able to think about where it could be in the next 2 to 3 years, like last year was the first ever Rogue Invitational, and there was $120,000 prize money for first place. If you'd have told me that that's where the sport would be at when I was competing in UK Strongest Woman in 2016, I would have laughed in your face and been like, yeah, right. So to be able to see the progression in the sport in this short amount of time that I've been a part of the sport makes me excited to see where it will be in the future.
Do you have to inform and remind a lot of the other women about what you just said? Because if they're coming in now, they're, you know, I don't want to say bitch and complain, but want it to be way better. And you have to say, hey, now wait a minute. You know, when I started this, I got to use, you know, outdated protein powder.
Yeah, like it is very much, there's people that come in and they want it to be more than what it is. And it's like, just have the patience. It's coming. And it will keep building.
Yeah.
We have to put the groundwork in now to change it and to kind of not advertise the sport, but to kind of grow ourselves as like personalities and as sports people. Like, and I feel like that's something that's really changed over the last few years is social media. It's like we are almost like publicizing the sport, getting people involved and getting people involved in our journeys as people. They want to come and watch us. They want to come and see us succeed because they've seen our stories. And I'm very much, it's almost like tier 2 me, CrossFit Games. Like as soon as she was kind of advertised to the masses, people got more on board with CrossFit. Her growing boomed, and then CrossFit boomed even more. It was like, I feel like people just need to kind of get to know us as people before for the sport to be able to improve more. Like,
that's a two-pronged thing though, where the athletes have to be willing to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
And I get the debate, right? Where a lot of the athletes are like, I don't want to do that shit. I just want to compete, be strong as hell, right? But that's the whole other side, you know, that plays into it. So are you seeing, because you have the history, so there's context here. Are you seeing a shift in that more so? Because it's always going to exist, no matter what. It's always going to exist. But if more and embrace, that's probably why it's been growing.
100%. Like social media has helped the sport so much. To be able to kind of, people have a fan base now, like all of the top strong women, the Donna Moore, Andrea Thompson, and were the main kind of driving force between, but getting strong women from where it was in 2016 to where it is now. They were like, almost like the organisers latched onto them as the big kind of forefront of the sport to kind of advertise the sport out to people, to kind of get sponsors on board and stuff. And it was Donna Moore really that kind of got me to want to compete at the world's kind of stage. Like, she was a massive idol to me. So that kind of push for strong women is what made me want to do it even more, and what made more women want to do it more. And that's how Strongwoman has got, especially in the UK now, from one competition every year being UK Strongest Woman to there being hundreds of strongman gyms in the UK. Every single gym has like a gym competition that women are a part of, and it's like, it's changing the narrative and it's showing that women can be strong. And that's how I feel like the sport has boomed, because it's almost like we've tapped into the fact that we can be strong as women, as well as it's not just men
Yeah.
Kind of
well, I think you just said something that's actually really profound that gets overlooked in these conversations is a lot of, and strongmen as well, both, see the publicity incorrectly. They see it as, here's the stuff we have to do because if we don't do this, we're not going to get the invite, but we have to do it. And who really gives a shit about the people that are seeing it, da, da, da. But you were inspired by somebody that you saw.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure every one of the other competitors were as well, because somebody posted something, and put themselves out there. So I think if they stop thinking about this as like a mass thing, like mass media or whatever it is, but thinking about it more as somebody's going to see me that's going to be inspired, that 6-7 years from now will be on a podcast or whatever's current at that time, AI robot conversation, and say they were the reason why they got into the sport and now they're a 3-time world's strongest woman. Right? Yeah. That seems more palatable and actually more inspiring.
And you never know who's watching you. Like, obviously, I've done quite a few meet and greets now, and obviously my social media, I get messages through, and the amount of people that have said, because I've seen you taking up space in this world and showing like your strength and vulnerability, has helped me get through my hard times. Like, social media is such a positive thing, and I never, like, obviously sometimes I see it as a chore and I'm like, oh, I've got to post and sponsors need me to post, but it's like, whenever I post, I'm like, who can I like inspire now? Like, I will post when I'm having a bad day. I'll put it up on my stories. I'm like, I'm struggling today. Like, but then I am not afraid to show my vulnerability, because there is strength in that vulnerability. And somebody who is just looking at my social media might see, well, Becca can have a bad day, so can I. Like, it's almost like they see strong women as almost like robots, and that we can't have bad sessions and we can't have a bad day. And it's like, no, like, I have a bad session like almost every week, like it feels like, but it's like, I will show that. I'll show my fails, I'll show my bad sessions. Like, I want people to see that like everybody has bad times. It's what you do with it that matters. So yeah, I definitely try and use my social media to inspire people to kind of make positive changes in their lives in any kind of way.
Well, that extends far past the people that are just competitors. Yeah. I mean, your story alone could save somebody's life. That's a powerful thing. And you may never know it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure just through your story and telling your story over the years, you've had people reach out that said it made a difference. Right. And that's all sporting and all that shit aside. That's a powerful thing. Right. It's easy to kind of lose sight of that as well, because that's the vulnerabilities that you put out there, and everybody's level of what they can take is different. Your level of hard, mentally is definitely at a different level than most other people, but their level of hard is the hardest they've ever had, which could be the lowest they've ever been, so they can find inspiration in, what you've done there and make profound changes, that far exceed that as well. With kind of cover the competing, the nutrition, the restoration, where would you like to see yourself in, I don't want to say 1 year because that's easy, 5 years. That's too long. 3 years.
So in 3 years' time, I'll have hopefully got another 2 World Strongest Woman titles. I want 5 World Strongest Woman titles is my goal. Because the most in history that any woman has ever held is 4. So the 5, because I want to go down as the GOAT. And I want to win the Arnold Pro. I want to hopefully have won the Rogue Invitational. I just want to set myself up for a good life. Like, I know I won't be in this sport for the rest of my life. It's a tough ass sport. Like, it's
you think?
I feel broken 99% of the time. But I want, obviously, like, I want to buy a house. I want to set, like, I've not had the most stable childhood, but I want to give myself that stability. So like in the next kind of 3 years, I want to earn enough money from the sport. Like I save all my prize money to go towards like setting myself up for the future. Like I've only just turned 30 now, so the next 3 years, hopefully I've won enough to be able to like to buy the house and have like a nice kind of.
Well, it's a good thing that the prize money now is higher than the cost to actually compete.
Yeah. 100%.
Whereas that was that way for eons. Actually, it was less than what it would cost, especially for you, to travel to the Arnold and to go back, and the prize money is $500.
Yeah, and it was very much more you just did it because you fucking love to do it, like kind of thing now. And I'm not naming people and whatever, but it's almost like some people now have forgotten that sport is supposed to be fun. Like I am not afraid to go and like show emotion and show happiness and show that I'm enjoying myself when I compete. But it's got to the point now where, there's a lot of money on the line with Strongwoman at the minute, or any kind of major sport, especially at the Arnolds. But like, it's almost like they've taken it too professional, some of the women now. And it's like, you need to remember that sport is fun. You need to enjoy it. Otherwise, you're not going to be in it for a long amount of time. You need to still learn to love the process and love the sport rather than just see it as like a mundane thing that you have to do.
It can be a trap, though, because once you get to a certain level, it becomes like a job.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're around other people that it's like a job for them too, and you can begin to lose sight of why you got in it in the first place. So grounding yourself in that is a big thing. For the powerlifters, I tell them, if you ever feel that pull, go to a local meet and see the people that are only there to have fun. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's still fun, no matter what somebody thinks, but you want to make money with what you do for fun. It makes perfect sense, right? You get that. But that balance gets fucked up. Then this is what I've seen just in the powerlifting. That balance gets fucked up. Now your recovery becomes screwed up, right? Then other things become screwed up. Your priorities get fucked up. So now you can't buy the food that you want. You can't buy whatever you can't, the things that you need to do to get better get compromised because of that, and in the long run, it ends up hurting you. And then they realize they hit that breaking point, like, fuck it, man. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just going to do this to have fun. There they go. You've seen what I'm talking about, right? It's like, how did you not get that to begin with? But it's weird because it's the world you live, because it becomes even more niched. And it has to be, right? Because you can't take it serious and compete at that level.
No.
That's the other thing that the ones aspiring to be better. I don't know if they can really be told. They have to experience that, right? You learn along the way what's really important and what's not. And the things that you thought weren't important, nutrition or whatever, it's like, oh shit, that's important.
And that's the thing. Like, so the first time that I won World's Strongest Woman in 2021, I came into that competition with with a bad knee injury. So I said to my coach, who was Paul at the time, I was like, I'm just going to go into this competition to have some fun. And that was the best that I had ever performed in a meet in my life. Like at that point, I was like, because I enjoyed it. I didn't let myself get nervous. I didn't put pressure on myself. I went in there to have fun and enjoy it. And that was the shift in what I needed to now, like every competition that I do, I have fun and I make a point of going and having fun. And I bring like a friend with me and we have a good time. So we treat it, it's not that I'm not serious about the sport. When that whistle goes, I am dialed in and I am ready to perform. But when I'm in the back waiting to go, I'm winding people up, I'm causing mischief, I'm having fun, I'm laughing, I'm enjoying myself, because I perform better that way. And I'm very much trying, like, I see people, especially at amateur level and stuff, like they're putting so much pressure on themselves. And it's like, no, you need to step back and you need to just learn to have some fun and enjoy it and enjoy the process. So
27 years ago, I started the company with an aim, live, learn, pass on, right? And the reason for that was strength sports changed my life, right? And it's changed a lot of other people's life. And one of the biggest fears I had is that will stop. People will become so consumed with it's a job and all the other kind of stuff, and then forget, to be able to help other people. Then a decade from now, there's nobody there, right? It's not, because most people are never going to make it to the top. It's a fact. That's why it's called the top. That's why it's called the top 1%. But these sports and the gym can change people's lives so profoundly, as you've kind of demonstrated, that's huge, and with your story that embodies basically everything that I started the company for, is for that, because your words are going to help somebody else, right? And then 20 years from now, that person will help somebody else. And then that cycle continues, as we've seen in women's strongman as well, from the very first pioneers of the sport, and they're still around now. It's not been that long. I mean, the very first ones are looking now like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. And that's just going to get broader, get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, because now you have more people, changing lives through the gym and so forth, which is amazing. So I want to thank you for that, for putting your story out there.
It's just something that I very much feel like I found my calling now. And I know, obviously, I've had shit things happen to me, but if I feel like I can help people by talking about the shit things that have happened to me and showing them that this is what I've still managed to do, even though I've still gone through that shit, like, I'm hoping that, some people might be able to kind of use that as a strength to be like, well, if Becca's done it, well, so can I. Like, I might not be able to get to the top, but I'll be able to make it through the next day. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just small things. So I'm very much of that mindset, and it's why I'm not afraid to show vulnerability, because hopefully somebody sees it that needs to see that other people go through shit times.
They will. It's not hopefully. They will. Right? Because you've already seen it reciprocated, you know what I'm saying? So they will. How can people go about finding you, following you?
So I'm mainly on Instagram at Rebecca Roberts Strongwoman, and that's where I do all of my posting. I did have a YouTube channel, but that's taken a bit of a step back because the training and work and life, it's all getting in the way. But Instagram's my main place that I go on.
We'll put a link in the description. I want to thank you for coming out. This has been great. Do you have any final thoughts, any final words?
Just keep swimming.
I like that. All right. Thank you. This has been great, and we're done.
Thank you.